WCLN 1170 Radio and Cable Channel 16 are pleased to present We Should Know, hosted by JW Simmons, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative as we consider closely what we should know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there. I want to thank you for being with us today. Each and every week we come to you on Tuesdays at 2:30, simulcast on WCLN Radio. Tuesdays and Thursdays also at 7 p.m., which is a replay. And we look forward to seeing you each and every week. This week, we're talking all about business. And if there's someone that knows about business in this area, it's the Executive Director of the Clinton-Sampson County Chamber of Commerce, Matt Stone. Matt, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, JW.
Matt, I want to start out to kind of get a little background because as I was reading, you originally came here from Lee County.
Yeah, well, we moved down from Raleigh, but I grew up in Lee County. That's correct.
It's interesting. Kind of give us an idea of what intrigued you about this job with the chamber. Obviously, you're a young guy, a lot of future ahead of you. Go anywhere you want to. Got a wonderful family. Everybody's glad to have you here. What brought you here in the sense of getting to that job as a chamber? Did you come here first and then go to the chamber, or were you looking at the chamber that caused you to come here?
No, well, we moved down here. And I was a partner in a small business and decided to take a step back from that and looking for something new. Maybe it's, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. This provides a unique platform. Prior to this, I'd done some work in state government with the judicial branch and the legislative branch. And I've worked in with large industry as well as a small business. So it attracted me. It's an important organization. In my opinion, it can have an important impact on the community and represent the business community.
One of the things that interests me, and I mentioned this to you when you came in a while ago, is you have two handsome young men in your life. And the interesting thing is they look a whole lot alike.
Well, then I appreciate you saying handsome since everybody says they look just like me. Yeah, we didn't need to call Mario on that one. So they're a blessing. They're a handful right now, but we love them to death.
Well, I know when people see you out and about, they might see them with you, and I've seen that, and sometimes I just think, man, how blessed you are. You got a wonderful family.
Thank you.
I want to kind of start today with this an overview, if you will, of the chamber here, both from your stepping into it, because you stepped into the chamber. One could say when the storm was raging with COVID and things were kind of upside down, and now it seems like they continue to be trying to find out which way is up.
What the new normal is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, it's like they're hitting restart. So coming into it, there's a lot of pieces to put back into place, put the puzzle back together. And I know there's been a lot of turnover in the role. I'd like to see it be a sustainable office and not have to hit restart every time there's a change. I'm not looking to go anywhere. Hopefully I don't get hit by the bus tomorrow. But I think we can have an impact, and I think it's important to have a plan for the future. And a lot of that involves, planning itself, strategic plan, new board member orientation, make sure everybody's on the same page so that we can achieve the mission, get to the finish line.
You mentioned board member. I noticed also your chair of your board is Dr. Gooden, who is the Sampson County Schools superintendent. Is that kind of unusual to have? Is this the first time we've had a superintendent of the county schools being the board chair?
So this is actually, I'll say this is the first time that we've had a co-chair or co-chairmanship with the board of directors. So Dr. Gooden, he had some prior chamber experience. And I guess it came down from Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So he was interested, but he was kind of a new face in the community. And so Bobby Spell is our other co-chair. Mm-hmm. So he's a familiar face. And so we've got two chairs for the board at this moment.
Well, it's almost that I sense that team effort, that the playing field is so varied with the chamber. Because when I think about business, I don't not only think about small business, but I think about environmental issues to develop business. Talk to us about that.
Right. I mean, everything is certainly connected. I feel like as a chamber, a 501c6 nonprofit organization, we're a good landing spot. We are not taxpayer funded. We may be in a county-owned building, but we pay rent to be there. We're not funded by city tax dollars or county tax dollars. We are member funded and provide a unique landing place for all groups and all things that have an interest in the community and the community's progress. And it's a live, work, play thing. You try to find folks. We've got a workforce issue right now. People are finding new folks to work, but they don't have a place to live. So housing is it's all connected. There's housing. If you want folks to come to the area to visit or to relocate, well, they want to see what there is to do. So you look at recreation and things of that nature. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts.
And some of the moving parts that you mentioned, we've seen obviously on a lot of the major networks in the Raleigh area, Greensboro area, Charlotte area, and particularly Wake County as a whole. So it sounds like we're experiencing some of those same kinds of traumatic events that Wake County is facing, which is housing and the ability for folks to come here and work. Are you seeing a transition where people are looking at Sampson County for residential only and maybe working at Amazon in Cumberland or Raleigh?
I don't know that we're there yet. As far as the inbound and outbound, I'll say commuter traffic for employment, I know the numbers. I think the Economic Development Office has put out the numbers that come from the state. And there's a good bit of that. And as you know, we're the largest county in the state of North Carolina, and we stretch, significantly north to south. So if you live in one part of the county, you may be headed, if you're going out of county to work, to a completely different area than you would be if you lived in a different part of the county. As far as bringing folks here, I think, it's great to have new folks, but you want them to be a part of the community and to fully assimilate. That's the best thing for, I think, the folks that live there. It's like me, I want to work where I live. My wife and our two boys, we're going to raise them here, and I want to have an impact. So there are folks, I think, in the western part of the county with Fayetteville's growth, you're seeing some housing development. And I think at the northern part of the county, it's just a matter of time before the Raleigh sprawl moves further down I-40 and hits Benson and then probably Newton Grove. But also with that sprawl that we're seeing, I mean, Clayton is a completely different place than it was, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. And it wasn't just, it's no longer a bedroom community. There are a lot of significant industry that are moving into the area as well.
When you look at folks that come here, and we're talking kind of that population that's out there that is maybe looking to locate a business here, or they're looking maybe to get into somewhat of a less dense environment population-wise, what is some of the key things that you think that we have here to attract that kind of business? And the other thing I think I hear a lot from the business development side is having the talent they need to make that business work. And you hit on that a while ago with just the employability issue, but kind of give us your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to that everything being connected. They want to have the workforce and they want to have the talent. So that means we need to make sure we've got good relationships and good programs, curriculum with not only the local community college, but our university neighbors to the north, Mount Olive. To the west, you've got Methodist, Fayetteville State. I was down in Lumberton last week at UNC Pembroke. I know there's a significant amount of people in Clinton that take courses down there, maybe on a part-time basis. We're still close proximity to North Carolina State and then Wilmington to the south and east. But some of the institutions that are our immediate neighbors are real close by. It's great if we can work with them, help me, help you to attract these folks. I know there's a number of folks I've talked to that have moved from the urban areas of the Raleigh. They're seeing the sprawl and the growth, but it's pretty fast-paced up there right now. And I won't say that we're nowhere near that pace. And so I think a lot of people are looking to get back to that slower lifestyle where you know your neighbors and it's not somebody new every week.
There seems to be this thing that I've had folks just say, well, Sampson that you just alluded to is so large when you look like 72 miles from the northern Plainview area down to the Harrods-Delway areas. It's a long stretch of highway and a lot of geography in between that they often see it as a place they transition through to get somewhere.
All right, so we're halfway between Raleigh and Wilmington.
Yeah, and the idea is how do we develop the environment where as they pass through, maybe they think, well, if I locate here with my business, listen, I could be close to Wilmington and also close to Raleigh at the same time.
Right. I mean, we've got good access to the interstates. I mean, there's highway projects going on currently. 24 bypass, they're redoing the bridge there at Sunset Avenue, and we're close to the port. I mean, that's attractive to large industry. As far, were you asking for the residential side of things?
Yes, more residential right now, but business side as well.
I guess the residential side, having folks move here, well, I don't think it's a bad selling point that we are halfway between Raleigh and Wilmington. We're close to urban centers that might have all the big box stores that people are looking for, and we can be an attractive place if we give them a sense of community, a small town, Mayberry type feel that a lot of people are looking for, especially when they're looking to raise a family or start a family.
And I think that's important.
I think it's important to get people, I guess, instead of passing through and stopping on in either Newton Grove at Smithfields or the 24 exit to grab a bite to eat on their journey to the coast. If we can get them into town and see what we've got going on, and they can get an idea. And some of that is different events that we have going on. Bring people here, they see what we've got and want to come back.
The critical part is, as you just alluded to, is that idea of at least stopping and, as the old saying goes, have a beverage or something. And oftentimes when they do, I hear folks comment on everything from downtown to some of our smaller towns out in the county. When we come back from break, and we're going to take a break here in just a few seconds, but as we come back from break, I want to talk about that larger, should I say, landscape that is referred to as the Clinton-Sampson County Chamber of Commerce, because oftentimes people still kind of think, well, the chamber that's the city of Clinton, and what's going on with the city of Clinton. City of Clinton's a county seat, but I think you're looking at a broader landscape than that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're talking with the Executive Director of the Clinton-Sampson County Chamber of Commerce, Matt Stone. We'll be back in a moment.
I am a firefighter.
I'm a mama.
I am a father.
I am a hog farmer.
I'm a hog farmer.
I'm a hog farmer.
I'm a hog farmer.
We are North Carolina Farm Families, and we are your neighbors.
Committed to protecting our natural resources for future generations.
And I'm committed to taking good care of the animals that we raise.
And I'm proud to raise my family on our farm.
And I am proud to live and serve my community in eastern North Carolina.
We exist to share the truth, educate the public, and protect North Carolina's farm families.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Again, thank you for being with us. The name of the show is We Should Know. My name is JW Simmons. I'm your host. My pleasure to be with you today, and also to introduce you again to Matt Stone, the Executive Director of the Clinton-Sampson Chamber of Commerce. Matt, we've been talking about some things, kind of large picture issues. I want to kind of zero in a bit and talk about the Chamber as the presence for the larger landscape of Sampson County.
Sure.
Do you feel comfortable that we're moving in the direction and kind of the vision you want to see the chamber and your board wants to see the chamber go to? And when I see you, of course, I see you quite a bit in media and so forth, and you're in Rollsboro, you're in Salemburg, you're in one of the municipalities. So you've got a sense for that, but kind of talk to us about what you see happening as the larger landscape unfolds.
Yeah, I'll say as far as, do I feel like the vision is moving in the direction that I think we need to be in? Yes, but of course, never as quick as one would like to. But I think we're getting there and we're headed in the right direction. I know in the past, at least maybe from outside perspectives, folks feel like there's a heavy focus on Clinton, which, of course, naturally there would be. You've got more people, more businesses, more industry. And like you said earlier, it's the county seat. And this is where our office is located. It's a central location. Mm-hmm. If we're trying to be all things to all folks throughout the county, I don't think it's necessarily a bad place to be. But I would like to put more emphasis on the Sampson portion of the Clinton-Sampson Chamber of Commerce, because we're all neighbors. A win for your neighbor doesn't necessarily it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for you. A win for your neighbor can be a win for you. So try to get out and do what we can in the western part of the county and up north, Newton Grove, and down south Garland, Harrells as well. And not forget Turkey to the east. So if another thing is while we are, and I guess it's Clinton-Sampson Chamber, not necessarily Clinton-Sampson County Chamber, because that goes back to the tax dollar thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of industry and business that are located outside of the county line or outside the county's borders that do a significant amount of business in the county. They might not contribute directly to the tax base, but they have a presence here, and their interests or the business climate in the county is important to them as well. So we've made contact with several that are outside of the county that do business here, and brought them into the fold. And we're going to try to advocate for a business-friendly climate and for the business community on behalf of the membership.
When you look at the local chambers of commerce that there are in North Carolina, give us your sense of how they relate to and interact with the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce.
So they react a little bit. The North Carolina, the local chambers would pay to be a member of the North Carolina Chamber. And there's some resources, and that would mostly be from a legislative side of things, keeping us up to date on matters at the legislature that are coming up so that we can share that with the membership and take a stance on whether or not we would be in favor of that legislation if it were or were not to be business friendly. There's another organization, the Carolinas Association for Chamber Executives, that helps out with some training, networking opportunities, things of that nature. So, and each chamber is different throughout the state and throughout the country. A lot of local chambers of commerce are, some are county funded, some are not. Some may be a chamber as well as a visitors bureau. And granted, we're in the same building as a visitors bureau, but we're two separate organizations. And some of them also play. We've got the county funds economic development office. Some of these local chambers, have that under their umbrella as well.
For those that may say, well, we've got a chamber executive director, and they seem to have some relationship with this economic development business. Right. Well, why do we need to? Right. Explain to us why we need to.
Sure. And I don't even like to use necessarily economic development phrase so much, because we do have that office, and it seems like, well, there's a duplication. So I'll say economic advancement. We want to advance the economy in the local area, in the region. I think, since we are not a tax-funded organization, if the local politics change, we're still here fighting on behalf of the business community. But each organization kind of plays a different role. With economic development, I would say they help to recruit and bring in the big boys, the large industry, and some smaller business. But once they're here, how do they become involved in the community? How can their other needs be met? And we're here to provide them with opportunities to network, opportunities to with sponsorships, and really assimilate.
I think one of the things it seems I recall reading is that the economic impact of small business compared to just, as you said, the kind of big boys, those small business economic development issues are tremendous when you look at actual analytical data.
Oh yeah, I mean, small business is extremely important, and some of it goes back to the quality of life thing. You want to have some mom and pop shops that you like to go to and visit and do business with. And a lot of the customers for the mom and pop shops may or may not be employees of some of the larger industry partners. So, I mean, it's important to have all of them and all of them be successful. And so we're here to do what we can to ensure that.
Again, one of these questions that you kind of go wherever you want to with it, but the issue of business and small business, how big a part of that, just in the one word creativity, for a person thinking about something, how do they take that idea, and how does the chamber interact with that person to take that idea and move it to a practical business application?
And I won't necessarily, I won't say that that's what we're here for. We have the Small Business Center, as you know, and I think if you've got an idea, Bart Rice and the folks over there can help you kind of get that off the ground. And then we're here once you kind of get up and going to help you go to the next level.
So it's kind of like, just kind of putting it here where people can envision this. We do have Bart with Sampson Community College Small Business Center, and of course Bart's been on.
I'm happy to help him out and do what I can.
But it's like you're welcome into the family once you get your analytics in place, and then that family of chamber members kind of come together and help move that forward. Right,
because I think it would be to our detriment to try to be all things to all people. I know I mentioned that before, but that was more in relation to the geographically. But yeah, if we can all have our specialties and work together and not duplicate resources, I think that'd be great. And as far as working together and partnerships, I think partnerships are excellent, and we talk a lot about them. I wish there was more, walk than talk. It should be a mutually beneficial thing. And if we actually could come together, I think we could do big things.
One of the things I often hear people talk about in small businesses is the overwhelming amount of work hours that they put in as small business owners versus I'm an employee somewhere.
Right. The employees get to check out at 5 and don't have to think about things.
Exactly. So is it harder now, you think, to get people to take a shot at a small business, or whether it's a food truck or whether it's a sewing operation or whatever? Do you feel a hesitancy with people?
As far as an employee or?
Yeah, no, as far as actually taking that risk, as far as actually saying, I'm going to go for this.
No, I think people are still excited and they're still going for it. We've had some new businesses, and I spoke to a fellow yesterday that has actually moved down here to start a new business from Idaho. And I won't share too much because I don't know how under the radar it is. But came in and spoke to me about membership and is going to be joining us. But yeah, people are coming. People are still out there and going for it. I don't think they're scared. I don't think they're hesitant. I think if you are, maybe it's not the right time.
How important is it for a person walking into that chamber to know that they have that partnership and also know who those partners are?
I think it's extremely important. If they want to be successful, you need to have partners. You don't. No, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but you're not doing it alone. Mm-hmm. Or if you are, you're making it harder on yourself.
Is a lot of the smaller businesses more successful in this area if they have some connectivity to the agriculture community versus, say, somewhere like in the Research Triangle?
I think, in Sampson County, everybody's connected to the agricultural community. So as far as whether or not they're more successful having a tie into that, I think a lot of new business, if they're ag-related, this is a good place for them to be. And if they're not, then folks that work in the ag community may use their buy their goods or use their services. Back to the small business thing, I think in the time commitment, I know that one of the things goes back to the workforce issue, and that's probably the biggest challenge right now.
We're going to take a break here shortly. I want to come back from break and kind of get into that subject of workforce a bit and talk about the diverse workforce we've got. There's a significant number of folks, as you're aware of, I'm sure, in this area that are Latino, and we know that population is there. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that's looking at that. I want to kind of discuss that in relationship to the chamber, what your thoughts are on that, how inclusive that environment is. And obviously it's of great importance to agriculture, and that's one of the reasons that came up as you were mentioning that. That's a huge community that is impactful of agriculture. So we got about 10 seconds here. We're going to go to break, but I want to kind of be thinking about that on break as we come back and just speak to that issue, because oftentimes I think that's something that is not only overlooked as far as business, but it's overlooked as far as product commodity. It's overlooked as far as the chain of things that have to happen to get goods and products there. So we'll touch that when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're talking about a number of issues facing business and the growth of business in this area with Matt Stone, Chamber Exec. We'll be back in a moment.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home. And we strive to provide the best communications services. STAR is committed to improving communications to all our service areas because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. STAR Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
Every year, 7 million 911 calls are made in North Carolina.
911, what's your emergency?
Will you answer the call? Every second counts. You can be that lifeline. People in crisis look to us for assistance. We provide guidance and support until physical help can arrive at the scene. Join us and make a difference in our community. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the voice in the dark. It's the hardest career you'll ever love. Will you answer the call? Discover more at it.nc.gov/911careers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there, coming to you from Star Communications TV, Channel 16. Also simulcast on WCLN Radio. My name is JW Simmons, your host, and we're talking with Matt Stone, the Executive Director of the Clinton-Sampson Chamber of Commerce. Should I put county in there, Matt, or not?
If they want to throw some more money at us, I put whatever.
Yeah, put whatever name on it. As we went to break, we were talking about a lot of folks in the county and different kinds of things going on. And one of the things that strikes me as we were talking about that is we do have a rather large, diverse population here. You know, sometimes we don't compare ourselves with Raleigh because Raleigh actually has people coming from everywhere trying to find housing and everything else. But we've got folks here, and a lot of those folks are in the ag industry. Mm-hmm. How does the chamber market itself to folks like that? Is there an effort to try to pull in Latino business people? And kind of give us your spin on that. I know we have some Latino businesses here. Right. Are they members of the chamber? Are you working on that, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, we've got a handful that are current members, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, if you ask anybody, when people think of a chamber, they think of the old white guy, which, old boys club, which we still got some good old boys, but I'm here to serve everybody. If they've got a business and part of this community, we'll do what we can to help them out. Talking about the Latin community, it's got a huge impact on agriculture, and the recent census numbers that came out as far as Sampson County as a whole, the census numbers indicated that we had lost some folks. That it wasn't as bad of a drop in population as some of our neighbors to the northeast and then along the South Carolina line. But it's a slippery slope. You start losing people, and then it's like a mass exodus because things start closing. The jobs aren't there. So the Latin community it's important not only to have these people to work in whatever jobs we're looking for workforce, but the population. We need people, and I think this is a new part of the population in the county that you might. It's like they're there, but you don't 100% realize it because they're not within your circle. So you don't know, you don't feel like people are necessarily leaving the county to move out or coming in because they might not be in your neighborhood, might not be at your church or on your radar.
What would you say to the person that's listening if they're thinking, what can I do to help not only environmentally, as far as the demographic environment, as far as the social structure environment, what can I do to help grow and encourage people to come to Sampson County to plant their businesses here? From the chamber director to that person that may be listening that has some time, what would you tell them they could do to help you and your board and other chamber members push the message of the chamber forward?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think some of it is marketing, as far as attracting new businesses and new people. If we can all be on the same page to make this place look as attractive as it actually is, which I think it's an attractive place to be for business or for retirement, raising a family, so on and so forth. What was your part of your question?
The dynamic of that is that there I think there's multiple people there that are willing to step up and do things, but they need somehow either they need an invitation. Right. They need to understand.
Well, here's the invitation.
Yeah, they need to understand where the door is. Yep. At least where to knock. And then the next part of that is, how has those people that are looking, how has the virtual world changed in the past 2 years as it relates to how you connect with people?
Yeah, I mean, telling your story is an important part of anything in business or nonprofit world or government. That's an important part of the story. Important part of the process is telling your story. And, I'll say that I'm not the best at telling the story, at least from sending out the communications. I'm trying to be out there and doing. And if we can do that, then more people will hear about it. Outreach programs to bring people into the fold.
I want to just straight from your website, and it talks about who we are. And one of the phrases, or one of the key connection phrases there is number one: join, connect, engage, thrive, cultivate your business. Give us the verbiage behind that opening on your website. This idea of joining something, connecting with something, engaging something, thriving, and cultivating. Give us some flow there. Give us some meat to put around it.
A spin off of JFK's comments. I don't know what speech it was, but ask not what your chamber can do for you, but what you can do for your chamber. The more that our members get involved, the more benefit they see. We've tried to come up with a robust benefits package, and I'm constantly looking to add new items to that list, whether if a business, I guess this is going back to the small business thing I forgot to mention earlier. So with some of our benefits, say you're struggling to do the bookkeeping and do this, that, and the other while running your business. We've negotiated with a local or a chamber member that has a payroll service. And so our other chamber members can receive that service at a discounted rate. We're also, we've got insurance discounts for workers' compensation. I've negotiated with a large outdoor advertising company. If folks want to do a billboard program campaign, and chamber members receive that service at a discounted rate. So I'm constantly looking for new ways to bring benefits and value to the chamber membership. And the more money we can spend locally, or I guess amongst ourselves, we can keep those dollars here, and those dollars aren't going to leave the area, which is good for the tax base as well. Cross-pollination, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the thing is with the engaged piece, and then when I see the word thrive, it's almost like there's a incubation period there with a small business that's trying to be a startup, that they really need people around them to help them in that thriving piece.
Right. Somebody else has done it before, and they've probably done it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So if they can share that experience with you so that you don't have to make that mistake, I certainly think that's a good thing.
We seem to still be dealing with a lot of things that were created or that came to pass. I'm not going to say they were created there because they might have been there for some time, but came to pass as a result of the whole COVID situation. And two of those key things that we hear continuously is the supply chain issue and jobs. Do you see sometime in the future, what are you hearing from business? When will that subside? Is it going to subside? Is it change forever?
I don't know. I don't because you might quote me on this after that. It's out there forever. I don't know. And now we've got, the economy's been booming most places with development. We've got announcements for, I think all the mega sites are booked up now. There's VinFast, Vietnamese automaker that's moving into Chatham County. Chatham County seems to have one every other day that they're announcing. So the economy's on the rise, but then folks are looking at the market and it's starting to act a little funny. So there's some uncertainties out there.
You mentioned market. Are we in problems with the market? It was just announced today that the nation, the country, has now ticked up to $31 trillion debt. That's the United States of America owes $31 trillion. That's a little bit shattering, considering the fact it seemed like it was just a year ago we were at like 26 or 27, and now it's just shy of the congressional mandate of this is how far you can go. Right. It's like your bank account is now.
Yeah, you can't overdraft anymore.
Exactly. So what does that say to you about that big word that's oftentimes underlined 3 times, recession? I'll go ahead and put it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what folks are talking about. I mean, you can only keep going up so high until you hit the top of you plateau, and it's cyclical. I don't know where it's going. I know that the value of a dollar isn't what it was pre-COVID, and everybody likes to have a balanced budget, but 9 out of 10 folks watching this show probably have some form of debt that they're working to pay back, and I don't know that the government should necessarily have debt or that amount of debt, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
And I think that piece of it is everybody's responsibility to hold. I mean, we can't just say, well, the chamber ought to know more about that, or the economic folks in Raleigh should know.
Don't paint me as an expert.
Nobody really don't know. And I think that's one reason I wanted to
We can make predictions. And, one of the events that we had earlier this year that we partnered with the Economic Development Office with State of the Economy, and we brought in an expert, and he spoke on it, and he kind of had the same thing to say, is there's a lot more uncertainty right now than there has been in the past. And so we'll do that. That'll be an annual event. So maybe by next this spring, I think we're doing it in January, he'll have all the answers for us.
Yeah, I believe you're referring to Dr. Mike Walden.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, in fact, we had him on this show. Yep. So he's very much a straightforward economist, and his observation is that there's not but so much science can predict. And when it comes to these trends, and it's not just the United States or locally, it's international.
Right.
So I think it's for lack of a better phrase, it makes the whole business community a bit nervous.
Right. I will say that I think one thing as far as COVID and the logistics, it might have, I mean, folks are still having issues getting certain items, whether that's in the trade industry, or, I mean, you might see some stuff that you used to see on the shelves at your local retailers that you can't find or have a tough time. But I will say that a lot of folks that do business in this country have seen what COVID the negative impact has had on logistics, and have now either moved more operations to America or are looking to do so because they want to do business here. Now they've got to be here. I think that's a good trend.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back and talk about some key things happening in the next few months that folks need to be aware of, that you're going to be kind of in the center of with your chamber members.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. We're going to talk about some issues that probably you're familiar with each and every year. One of those, of course, is the Christmas parade and other things that's happening with the chamber. Stay tuned. We'll be back in one moment.
To get the most out of your electronic devices, you need a strong internet connection and a protected home Wi-Fi network. You need high-speed internet from Star. Star has the fastest, most affordable high-speed internet service available for all your devices. We have no long-term contracts or high-pressure sales. Our service speaks for itself, and switching is hassle-free. We take care of everything with free installation from a local company. High-speed internet from Star. Internet at the speed of life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I want to thank you for being with us today. We're coming up on our last segment of the show. I also want to remind you, please continue to contact us at weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. That's weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. You can also drop us a card, postcard, letter, commentary, whatever, the Post Office Box 1482, Clinton, North Carolina. Just put We Should Know, or even WSK. It'll go to that box, and we'll try to interact with you. Sometimes you give us information about new shows, people we need to talk to, subjects you want to need to know more about, or people that are doing certain things that you feel like would benefit everybody. please let us know that and we'll make content. Today we're talking with the Chamber Executive Director and Matt Stone. That's quite a title. When you think about Executive Director, you got a lot going on. And I think, Matt, one of the things I want to kind of start this last segment in commentary is that there's a lot of expectation and then there is reality. Mm-hmm. And you have to balance both of those in your job.
Right.
So I want to start with something that would be maybe a little more exciting and pleasing.
All right.
And that's every year the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
Tell us what's happening.
Yep.
And not only the Christmas parade in the sense of singular, but the Christmas parades that are plural that happen throughout the area.
Yeah, there's at least Christmas events. I know that Rosebud does a parade. There's the Circle of Lights, I believe, in Newton Grove. Mm-hmm. Everybody's doing something, and we try to participate in all of them. But as far as the only one that we put on and put together for the community is the one here in Clinton. Mm-hmm. Yes, the Chamber of Commerce has been doing the Christmas parade for I don't know how many years, several years. So we enjoy it, and we're going to make a few changes. And I've also got a special guest that we're going to bring in for Grand Marshal this year. But I'm going to keep that under my hat for now. Mm-hmm. Folks will have to come out if they want to see who it is. But we're going to provide some unique and different sponsorship opportunities for the membership. And I encourage folks to reach out to learn more.
Do you have an idea of, the visuality of the parade that you guys actually get behind and push, the Clinton parade? Is there a lot of folks that look at that during the parade and also afterwards? Do you have any idea, like numbers, how many people?
No, I'd love to get some more of those numbers from you and your Star folks.
Yeah.
Because y'all did the broadcast, and we're much appreciative of that partnership. But I know there's a lot of people that watch it on a live broadcast as well as online. And there's a ton of folks that, not just in the community and in the county, but from outside the county. I actually had a young lady call me the other day asking when the parade was going to be held, which it's always the second Saturday in December, which I believe is the 10th this year at 10 o'clock. And hopefully we'll have weather similar to what we've got now. But she was up in Johnson County from Benson and had been invited to the parade some years back. And that was the first time she'd come to Clinton or to Sampson County. And she noticed all the shops and the restaurants. And she's been coming back ever since, not only to see the parade, but to shop and spend money down here. I think that's great. It provides an opportunity for people from elsewhere to come to town and see what we've got going on and visit Sampson County. And we've got a number of county officials that participate in the parade. It's not just the Clinton businesses, but everybody that does business in and around the area.
Talk a bit about some of the expectations and for people that are listening that maybe either have something they want to put in the parade or they want to be part of the parade somehow. Who did they call 592-6177?
Yeah,
or did they?
They call us. We'll have the information on the website as well. All the details as well as the ability to submit entry and so on and so forth. So check out the website, Clinton-Sampson-Chamber.org for more information, or give us a call, as you said, 592-6177.
And we'll try to put that on the screen here for folks watching the TV.
Yeah, don't give my cell phone number.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We put that out there. That'll help you. I know. When you look at the categories of the parade, is it typically structured where you have a certain group here and a certain group there?
Actually, we try to
give
mix
us an idea of how that's put together.
I guess you were wondering who all was participating, which we'll be co-chairing doing the commentating this year. But we try to have a good flow. The Dunn Shriners will start us off with the little clown cars or go-karts. Everybody seems to love them. Mm-hmm. It's not a parade without them. We'll have some service vehicles throughout, some homemade floats. Mm-hmm. We'll mix in the beauty queens, marching bands, dance squads. Try to have something new to look at throughout for the people along the sidewalks and the kids. And then, of course, Santa Claus, the Chamber's float at the end.
Well, and last year we talked a bit about the parade, and of course, it seemed like for the past 2 or 3 years, just trying to bounce around with this COVID thing has been crazy. And folks didn't, you didn't want to get close to anybody. You were scared to have a crowd. People wore masks. It's hard to.
They had to cancel it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's almost like a springtime for the parade as far as coming out. Is this something that you see something maybe innovative happening? I know you and I have talked about maybe having somebody on the street talking with some people down on the street.
Yeah. Sideline reporter at the ball game.
Yeah, kind of getting a little bit personal.
Yeah, but I mean that provides an opportunity for folks that may be watching it online or on television. They can see different things. We want to make it a great event, fun for the folks. Good for the sponsors. We want more eyeballs because that's good for the area and for the business community and the community in general. The more folks see that you've got something going on, and they're more likely to check it out.
Do you anticipate, because of this outcoming thing from the last couple of years, do you see more people signing up? Are you anticipating more people signing up and wanting to be in the parade as well as being observers and supporters?
Well, now I look back, before I got into it last year, at some of the footage of parades in years prior, and I think we had a good number of folks. The sidewalks were several people deep along the route, and as far as entries are concerned, I believe we had more than the last time we put it on, which was prior to COVID. So it wasn't. This event, we had, I feel like, just as much turnout, if not more, than pre-COVID, which, a lot of folks have gotten kind of out of the habit of getting out and doing, but I think this is a special one for the community.
And it seems like this is an opportunity for folks really to even if it's a small business, they can step up and shine with the small business. If it's a vehicle and whatever products they're offering, and just have a sign say. I mean, people look at that and they say, they took the effort to be part of it.
Yeah. I would love to quantify the number, maybe do an estimate on the number of people that are out there and see your name and your logo, going down the street as well as on TV. But it's something for the kids and for the families as well.
Well, it's an ongoing issue, and a lot of the things we've talked about today, everything from the diverse environment to the expectations of the future, to the unknown of solar energy and alternative sources of energy, all is impacting what you represent here, and that is the very grassroots growth of our economy.
Right, and I guess that's the important thing about supporting your chamber, so we can, I'd like to have a sustainable office with a clear vision and clear plan for the future, because with uncertain times, we like to be the constant to help move the needle when and where we can. I hope folks don't want to call on us or join, when they're in a time of need, but keep us in a position, throughout, so that when that time where they may need to call upon us,
I think the chamber, at least in talking with folks that I talk to, they seem like they see the chamber as that arena they can get into that is an arena of solution. They see that as where we can find gravity again. I mean, because literally right now you don't know where to plant. You don't know where to put your feet. You don't know where to stop. Do I do a storefront or don't I do a storefront? Right. If I don't do the storefront, how do I get my product out? How do I get it delivered? Is it that important to have it delivered in other counties, other states? All of those things play in people's minds. And you have people, I'm sure, that are members of the chamber that have had those experiences.
Right. They've got that knowledge. So we're a place where the business community can come together and share ideas and bounce things off of each other. We've got several committees that people participate on. A lot of our committees kind of dropped off during COVID. So, hey, if anybody's interested in being on a committee, please contact me. But, yeah, when folks can get together and talk about different things, then it's a lot easier to find a solution. 2 heads, 3 heads, whatever is better than one.
One of the programs that Chamber's done historically is the leadership program, and I still hear a lot of positive comments about that leadership
Yeah, that
program.
one's coming back. I was excited about that. And we'll be kicking that off in the month of October, starting off with the junior leadership program, which takes now juniors in high school from each of the schools throughout the county. And the program goes on throughout. They meet once a month throughout the school year, and we expose them to different areas of the local economy, whether that's agriculture, whether it's a quality of life thing with health and wellness, industry and manufacturing, show them how the state government works, take them up to Raleigh, introduce them to some folks. And I mean, also there's some team building exercises and a community project. I don't know if you want to compare it to like a Eagle Scout project, something that'll leave a lasting impact after they're done with the program.
Well, we want to thank you for being with us today and taking time to come in and just sit down and talk to the folks and explain what's going on. And we certainly look forward to having you back soon, maybe to give us some updates on what is happening, particularly as it relates to any kind of business growth in the area. Thank you for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Matt Stone, Executive Director of the Clinton-Sampson Chamber of Commerce. We look forward to seeing you again next week right here with a new subject about some things you need to know. And may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host JW Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.